And a very good morning to you. It is Friday morning, the 25th of March, the year 2022. And this is your friend Angus Buchan with a thought for the day. If we go to the Gospel of John chapter 13 and verse 8. And Peter said, "You shall never wash my feet." Do you know that that statement was a very proudful statement? Do you know that that statement nearly cost Peter his whole ministry? Because right after that, Jesus said, "If I cannot wash your feet, then you will have no part of me." 1 Peter chapter 5 and verse 5. First book of Peter chapter 5 and verse 5. God resists the proud, but he gives grace to the humble. You see, it's all about him. Do you remember that old hymn we used to sing many, many years ago? It goes something like this: all of me and none of him. The first verse. The second verse, some of me and some of him. And then the last verse, none of me, all of him. You see, this pride actually starts from when you are very young. Have you often seen a little boy, maybe 2 or 3 years old, and he's trying to tie his shoelaces? I have many grandsons, and often you want to help them, and what do? They push your hand away because he wants to do it himself until eventually he can't, and then you help him. You know, many, many years ago when I started farming as a young man, I used to grow seed maize, and it's a very technical crop. You've got 2 varieties growing in the same field, and the one variety you have to pull the flowers out before they pollinate, otherwise the company will condemn the crop. I got myself into a very tight spot. I had over 100 hectares in one block. That was everything I had. And the flowers were just coming out so fast, I could not get them out in time. The inspectors came to me on a Friday afternoon. They said, if these fields are not cleaned by Monday morning, I'm very sorry, but we have to condemn you. Now, I didn't know what to do. You know, I was a young man. I had limited funds. I was absolutely desperate. And I knew that I could not get those flowers out by the Monday morning. What did I do? Well, I had to humble myself. I really had to humble myself. I found a neighbor, an extremely successful farmer, employing hundreds and hundreds of workers. And I said to him, "Can you please help me? Because I just cannot manage." Do you know that gentleman, and I will never forget what he did as long as I live. He arrived here early Saturday morning. I think he had 2 or maybe 3 lorries full of staff. Hundreds of people. He had brought water. They had water to drink. He had 2-way radios with his foreman, and they went into this field and they cleaned it up. It was amazing. Absolutely amazing. If I hadn't asked him, I wouldn't have had a farm today. You know, a couple of weeks later, I phoned him. I said, "I'm still waiting for the invoice to pay you." He said to me, "What invoice?" What a man, eh? I want to say to you today that we really sometimes have to go through hard times in order to be taught humility. Paul says in Romans chapter 5, verses 3 and 4, "I rejoice in my tribulation. Tribulation worketh patience, patience character, and character hope." I've never met a man yet worth his salt who has not been through fiery trials. Today, ask Jesus, Matthew 7:7, and he will give it to you. Have a wonderful day. Jesus bless you. Goodbye.